interestingly enough, they're turning to a more progressive direction, because both Jeff Hanneman and Kerry King were very inspired by Merciful Fate at the time. And if you don't know much about Merciful Fate, they're kind of a sort of progressive, somewhat black metal, like early black metal band with King Diamond as their singer, who just sings that. But before Hell Awaits It came out, Show No Mercy pretty much sold like 80,000 or something records worldwide, and it did really well for a debut. I'm not sure if it did better than Kill 'Em All. It might have, but yeah, they were a huge underground success. Like, all these people were like spreading the word about this underground group, Slayer. So yeah, they were just making this huge fan base. So let's get into the album. Hell Awaits is a very interesting and dark progressive style album, not just for them, but just in thrash in general. Like, this is very influential for black and death metal, and just anything with like a really dark kind of satanic approach, I guess you could say. So, came out in 1985. The artwork is very creepy, interesting, kind of eerie as well. It shows like it's in hell, and it shows like all these weird streaks of like orange and yellow and stuff. And it just shows like all these demon sort of things falling, and then it shows like Satan opening, like, or just like holding up like a beast's head or something like that. I used to think it was like a black hole or something. That would have been even more cool. Yeah, it's kind of weird artwork. The album looks low budget, and it's often forgotten by many fans because it's just, you know, it doesn't have that many big songs on it for them, and it was still before their major label debut. So, you know, people, they go back to see Show No Mercy, their first album, and then they know Rain and Blood, so they kind of forget Hell Awaits. And I think that is pretty much a travesty. So a lot of the lyrical themes surround on this album are kind of more about serial killers and Satan. A couple more important things about this album is that, one, the riffs aren't that memorable, but it's so progressive, you know, you kind of forget, and a lot of it starts to sound the same, but that happens with a lot of their albums. Another interesting thing is Dave Lombardo's drum playing is way better on this album than before. He uses way more double bass, because I believe during in between Show No Mercy and Hell Awaits, they toured with like Death Angel, Gene Hoggan or something like that. Holgene, I can't pronounce his name right. He's on Death Symbolic, and I think the drummer in that album is absolutely amazing. So he was pretty much teaching Dave how to use the double bass, but he would soon become the godfather of the double bass. So yeah, it's like he succeeded as master. And one more interesting thing is that the guitar solos on this album are way superior to the predecessor, Show No Mercy, or many albums to come. The solos are a lot more technical and not just whammy bar, tremolo, picking influence, where it's just kind of noise and sounds like goats. There's also only 7 songs on this whole album, yet I think it's one of the longer albums from the 1980s, because some of the songs are longer. Nothing hits the 7-minute mark. I wish one of the songs in here was 7 minutes, but, you know, there's 3 of them I think that are 6 minutes, so, you know, they're pretty progressive. So the first song, Hell Awaits, is very creepy and kind of weird. The intro is just kind of slowly getting louder, and they're just backwards voices saying, join us, but it kind of sounds like, you know, if you're one of those people that are like, oh, it's backmasking, it sounds like Satan, it kind of does, it's the whole point. And then you're Satan's saying, welcome back, and then it just has this slow guitar and drum intro, and then it kind of speeds up. Very cool drumming from Dave Lombardo, and then it finally gets into the song. It's very fast. The verse, where it just kind of, the drums is stopping, it's just really fast guitar playing with Tom singing this really fast vocal line. It's really cool. It's a very, very fast and dark song, and the parts where, I think the chorus is pretty much just Satan saying Hell Awaits. So the next song, Kill Again, maybe my second or third favorite song on this album, and it's probably the easiest one to get into. It's not necessarily as progressive, and the riffs are a little bit more memorable. It's a really fast it's a really fast groove that goes throughout the song, with a really nice, guitar riff. And then the drumming's really cool through it, and then the lyrics are really great on this song. But yeah, this song is where this Tom Araya really shines. His singing's really good on it. It's a little bit different than the last album where it was just kind of untrained. On this, he's kind of just like whispering it more until like later parts in the chorus where he's like yelling it. You know, he sounds really creepy on it, so yeah, he delivers the music very well. He kind of doesn't sometimes on other albums, but throughout this album, he does a very, very perfect job. The next song, At Dawn They Sleep. Now, I used to think this song was about, like, pretty much ambushing a army in, like, medieval times or something while they were sleeping. But the actual song is about vampires. Very cool song, kind of progressive. Reminds me a little bit of Rain and Blood because it has a really great riff structure and everything, and then it goes into a slower part, like, way slower, kind of like some Maiden songs do that, and then it gets really fast again, really great solos in between everything. It has really nice transitions. Most of the transitions on this album are created with the guitar solos from Jeff and Carey. This might actually be my favorite song off the whole album, and maybe one of my favorite Slayer songs. It is very good, and the lyrics are really cool. It also has kind of a, not necessarily groove, but it might have, the drumming is kind of groove influenced on this song as well. The next song, Praise of Death, kind of took me a while to get into because it's not that as memorable of riffs, you know, but there's so many changes throughout the song and so many guitar solos, and it's so fast and it's so progressive that I've kind of grown to love it. It's hard to remember the song, so it's like it feels like a new listen every time. Now, the next song, Necrophiliac, and I've just recently finally gotten into it. I used to think it was a good song, now I realize it's a great song. It has kind of a weird intro with the bass and guitars, and, you know, the lyrical themes are just disgusting. It's about people that have sex with dead people. It's also kind of short, so if you're bored with it, or not a big fan of it, like I used to be, it's like 3 minutes, so it's not that bad compared. There's like 6-minute songs in this album that a lot of people don't really like, but I think they're the best. Crypts of Eternity is the next song. This is probably my second favorite song off the album. It's also, in my opinion, the most progressive. Praise of Death is probably number 2, because they both have a lot of changes, but this one has the most riff changes and time changes and, you know, tempo changes throughout the album. This is the most progressive song, and I'd say probably the epic. I wish, if they increased it by like 20 seconds, this would be the epic 7-minute epic track. Or I think 15 seconds or something like that. I remember there's a part towards the end of the song before it goes back to the main riff that I really like. Something that Tom yells, I can't specifically remember. Second best song in the album, in my opinion. So the final song, Hardening of the Arteries. Now this is a really weird title, you know. The song is pretty cool, actually. It's really fast. It starts with this really weird, murky sounding riff with like kind of heavy sounding guitars, really low sounding, and bass over top of it as well. And it just kicks in this fast as hell song that pretty much lasts for like 2 minutes. Kind of predicting what they'll do next on Rain and Blood. It's just this really fast, short kind of song, but then it's not that short because there's a part extended to it that extends the song, where it's like kind of like the intro part again, where it's just kind of that slow riff, this exact same riff at the beginning of Hell Awaits, but then with like the more technical drumming than the beginning part of Hell Awaits. So yeah, it's really cool, very cool intro and outro to the album. It's very, very creepy. So this album is very great and really, really surprised me because I was originally going to give this an 8 out of 10 because I was never a really big fan of it. I always liked the first 3 songs and I wasn't a big fan of the rest of the album, to be honest with you. I found that I really liked a lot of songs off here, you know. You have Crypts of Eternity, Praise of Death, Necrophiliac. I've grown to really like those songs.